Salut French students, bienvenue à l'activité orale 2. Welcome to the second oral activity. In this activity, you're going to be describing a friend. And I'll give you a little bit of background information on the conversation before we get started with it. So, a classmate wants to know about a friend from your French class and his sister. You're going to be describing both of them. So, I will play the role of your classmate, and I'll be asking you to describe them using adjectives you've been learning in Chapitre 1. You'll kind of draw from some knowledge you had from Chapitre Préliminaire also. And don't forget that the adjectives that you'll be using in this conversation need to be in the correct form, masculine or feminine, and it depends on who you're describing, either your male friend or his female sister. So I'll read the red parts and you will be reading the blue parts. But before we get into the conversation, I do want to share a few new expressions with you that I think will be helpful in this kind of informal conversation. All right. So we have 4 expressions that I have given to you here that would be helpful for speaking with a friend. And you'll notice that all of these are hyperlinked, so if you click on any of them, it'll take you either to a video or to a website where you can hear a native speaker pronounce these expressions. And these are expressions I think we haven't seen in our textbook, but they're really useful for real-life conversations. So the first one is quoi de neuf, and that means what's new with you or what's up. A good response to that might be pas grand-chose, like not much, kind of bored. The third one is ah bon, like oh really? And then finally the last one is à plus tard, see you later. So another thing I would recommend for listening to and practicing saying these expressions is to use Google Translate. In high school language classes, your teachers may or may not have encouraged you to use Google Translate. I guess it depends on their philosophy. If you're using it just to translate sentences and words, sometimes you can kind of use it as a crutch, and that's not so good. But Translate for listening and for speaking practice is really helpful, I think. You can take any of these expressions or any of the expressions from the conversation, plug them into Google Translate, and hear them spoken back to you, which is really just helpful for fine-tuning your ears to be able to understand French better. It is a computerized voice, but it's still pretty good, I think. You can also practice pronouncing these expressions. If you plug any of these, or actually if you just click on the microphone symbol in the left side of Google Translate and you say one of these expressions, you can see if the translator will understand you, and that will, give you some confidence about how well you're pronouncing them. Okay, so without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into our conversation, and here we go. On y va! Salut, ça va? Quoi de neuf? Et ton nouvel ami dans le cours de français, c'est comment? Ah bon? Et Léa, c'est comment? David et Léa, ils sont américains ou canadiens? Et toi, tu es américain ou canadien? À plus tard!